Hello and welcome to HW Blue. This is tutorial number 5 on Absolute Beginner series. Previously we did Extrude boss command. Today we'll be doing Revolve base command. To start with it, let's press on this. It is asking to select a plane, and we will draw some sketch. To revolve we need a center line or the axis of rotation, which we call escape, and then we will use the profile to be revolved. I will use a circle, right click, smart dimensions, let's give it 50 and this till here, let's keep it 100, but it's still not defined because it is moving up and down, so we'll constrain it in this direction also. Now it is fully defined, as you can see here. So now if we come out of the command, it automatically detects the axis of rotation and the profile. If you see it is not the right axis, you can also change it by selecting it from here, and also the profile you can select from here. So once we click on it, you will see it is a Revolve Geometry. Now there are certain options in this command. Let's go through each of them one by one. To see that, we will do right click on this feature, edit feature. Now you will see it says blind, and it also asking for the angle to be revolved. So right now it's 360 degree. If we change it, we can actually reduce it to whatever value we want. You also see there is direction 2. If we put that, we can also add the revolve in the other direction. So this was the first option. For simplicity, I will uncheck this direction 2 for now. So this was the first option. Next option we have in this is up to vertex and up to surface, offset from surface. For all these three options, we need to have some kind of vertex or some kind of surface already made. So we'll do it a little later. Let's try this mid plane option. So when I select this, you see what it has done. It has basically put the sketch in the middle plane and revolved equally in both the directions. So whatever value I will give it, it will equally revolve on both the directions. So this is mid plane. Now I come out of this command and I'll delete it. So to try other options, we need to have some kind of vertex or some kind of surface which is already there. So I'll delete it first, and I'll create a solid body which can be used for that reference. Right click, delete. So what I'll do a simple extrude, use some plane. Let's give it a value 100, 100, and done. Let's give it some value here also, and done. So now we will try the left out option in this. To do that, we will select some plane to sketch. I will use the front plane for now, and I'll select it from this menu, sketch. This is also the same thing if I select there or there. So now we will make some kind of axis for revolution. I have made it slightly away from the origin this time. It's not necessary to have the axis at the origin, you can have it anywhere. Let's define these. I will use the easier way to do it, as we are not bound to have any kind of. Now see, it has fully constrained it. So if I come out of the command, now if I execute the Revolve feature, so it has again automatically considered this as the axis of rotation and this as the sketch for rotation or the contour for rotation. So what if I select some other edge for this revolution? Let's try this. So it is highlighted. I will use this as the axis of rotation. It says that the line defining the axis is not valid. Why this is saying so? Because this line is not in the same sketch plane. So to illustrate this, what we can do, I will change the plane of the revolve sketch. To do that, I will right click on the sketch, select, right click, edit sketch plane. So right now it has already selected front plane, which we gave it earlier. This time I will select the outer face of it. Let's come out of the command and now try revolve. As usual, it has considered this as the axis. Let's try changing the axis. Instead of sketch, I am giving some kind of edge to it. So now you see it has considered this as the axis of rotation. We can give some other edge also. If I do this, so now this is the axis of rotation. Okay, so this was it till here for in the blind option. Next is up to the vertex. If I do this, let's see what happens. For that I need to select a vertex. If I select this vertex, so this is how it is happening. Basically what it is doing, because this is the center of rotation, so a line, consider an imaginary line passing through this center and this vertex, and wherever that line meets, that is where this revolve is being terminated. So this was up to vertex. Let's do up to surface. If I do up to surface, see what happens. If I select this, it will say it is failed because of geometric condition, because it is not possible in this case. Let's try with some other surface. Again it is not happening. This surface not happening. This surface not happening. That is because when it is revolved all around it, and the face which we are giving, that is not coming in the way of that revolve. That is why this is happening. So to correct this, let's change the axis of rotation. If I select this, now let's try selecting the plane. This time it's done. Why? Because when it is rotating, it is actually coming onto the plane. It is touching that plane. Previously this was not happening. It was somewhere here. So this is why this has happened. Okay, so moving on to the next command, next option, we have offset from surface. If I use this and if I select this surface, so it is understood that this is the offset from which, this is the surface from which offset is happening. So this gap you see here is actually 10 mm. We can reverse this offset also. Like this, offset works. So these were all the options available in the revolve command. Now here you see thin feature also. So it is actually a very useful command nowadays, and I personally use this very much. So how this is helpful, I'll explain. Let's try delete everything else what is already there. Delete this to all. Okay, so to try this, I will make a sketch. I'll make a axis for rotation, and this time I'm just making a line, and I'll fully define it. Okay, so what is there? Because it's just a line, it's not a closed loop. So ideally, in normal conditions, the revolve will not happen because it's not a closed loop. So once I press OK, and then if I select revolve, let's see what it says. The sketch is currently open because a non-thin revolution requires a closed sketch. A non-thin requires a closed sketch, but a thin feature can still work with the open sketch. It also says, would you like the sketch to be automatically closed? In many cases, it tries to automatically make it a closed sketch, but because it's just a line, maybe it will not happen. If I click yes, it doesn't work. The profile could not be closed without creating self-intersecting entities. So it is because it's just a line, it is not able to make it a closed sketch. So it will rather revolve it as a thin feature. Okay. So it has revolved it as a thin feature. Inside the thin feature, what options we have? One direction, it's the direction of the thickness for the thin feature. So if I click it, this is what is happening. It is changing the direction of the thickness. We can also make it in the middle. So it is basically equally on both sides. And also we have two directions. Means we can give certain direction in one side and we can give certain value in other side. So this was there in thin feature. So with this we are done with the revolve command in today's video. But we have similar function in extrude command also, which I skipped yesterday or in the previous video. So let's try that also. So to illustrate that, I will try to compare it with the usual practice. For example, if we need to make a cuboid, what we will do a rectangular sketch in normal practice. We'll do a rectangular sketch. For example, I need to make a 100 by 100 by 100 cube. So this is the process we normally use. If I come out of the sketch and if I go to extrude feature, so it is already 100 here. So it's a cube now, 100 by 100 by 100 each side. But there is another way to do it, which is there in thin feature. And thin feature is actually a very good command. So how can we make a cube by using that thin feature? Let's try it. I'll delete it for now. Let's delete the sketch also. Yes. So to do that, I'll make a sketch first, a 2D sketch. Select a plane. So I'll be using midpoint line. I'll give the value to it as 100 mm. So it is a 100 mm long simple line. And with this thin feature, we can make it a cube of 100 by 100 by 100, or 100 each side, we should say. Let's come out of the sketch and then execute the extrude voice command. If I select this, I can also do like this. I select the sketch first and then press the command. So this is what it has done. It has created a cuboid already. So what we can do, so this in one direction it has already considered is 100 mm, other direction it is considering 10 mm, so we can also say that 100 mm. So now you see it's a cube. We can also arrange that around the planes. Here also mid plane, and that's done. So you see, with the use of thin feature, with just one line sketch we are able to make a cube. So this is actually a very beautiful command, because we need to make less, or I should say a comparatively smaller sketch. Smaller sketch means less chances of error, and we can easily edit it. So I personally prefer this over the traditional way, because it is very quick and efficient, of course. Tell me how do you like it, or if you have any suggestion to make. That's all for this particular video. We meet in the next video for the next features, which is swept boss or lofted boss. Thank you for your time. That's all for today. See you.